morning and welcome to the Bucket List Show. I'm Tammy Crandall with Journ Adventure Travel and Tours and Barron Real Estate, and I'm joined by my co-host Rebecca Denise
of Superior Storage and Barron Real Estate.
We are here to serve you, to help you fill your bucket to live your most abundant life. And what that means for you and also for each of us here on the show can be very different compared to most. It could be taking your first cruise, taking your 20th cruise, putting that pin in the map. You know, because you haven't been to a certain place. That's right. And she keeps bringing up Hawaii.
Because I'm
At
going.
one point, she won't bring that up anymore because
we're going to film in Hawaii.
That's right. We're going to film it there. Right. Exactly.
And then we'll paddleboard in Hawaii. So then we're good. We got a couple things off our list.
Right. And of course, we would be remiss in saying this. Obviously, we are part of Barron Real Estate.
Correct.
So we do like to focus on what's going on in today's market, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ever changing.
Exactly. So for the longest time, we've had a market here in real estate that has been predominantly buyer driven, right?
Correct.
They had all the keys in their hands, for lack of a better way to say it. So how has that changed, do you think, Rebecca?
You know, I think it's still a crazy busy market. I think there's pockets that it is a seller's market, depending on the price level. And then I also think that lower end is starting to move. But it's a mix because we still have a huge amount of new construction everywhere.
We do.
And obviously everyone's going up north and then we're going west, at least in Florida. But if you look all over the country, you know, if we spot check Connecticut or New York, you know, or California, everything's going up. The prices are still appreciating and mortgage rates are up. So, you know, you need to be creative. It's still a great time to buy or sell. You just need to be aligned with the right partners.
That's true.
And you need to have someone who's going to, you know, really pull your partners on demand together. So, you know, we understand what you're getting for the mortgage, your title, your lending, your home inspector. But it can be done, and it still is a good time to buy.
Right, and it can be, you know, as she mentioned, it can be a stressful ordeal, a stressful process. So having the right realtor partner, having the right title company partners, your mortgage partners, all of those things are important.
It is. You know, it's a big transaction. It's probably your largest transaction, which, you know, everyone says a million times. But it has to be right. It all has to fall into place. It needs to feel right. You need to walk away, you know, that the integrity of your partners are really helping you.
Right.
And, you know, you're getting the deal that you want. And especially with the inspection side and the finance side, those things are key. You don't want to buy a house and find out that, you know, maybe the AC doesn't work.
Right.
Or you have creepy crawlers in the attic. And so you need to do it right the first time.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Rebecca. The lizards, you know, so. But
it's been quite an adjustment for you from Connecticut to Florida. With the
totally
creepy
different from
crawlers.
Connecticut. Yeah. I can't even think of any
I
animal.
love my lizards. She's got a problem with lizards. I don't know what it is.
The other day I almost ran over, I think it was like an anteater. I don't know what it was. I just drove and screamed, and it ran across.
It was probably an opossum.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a possum,
sure?
and it wasn't an armadillo. It was big. But anyway, back to home sales. So if we look at St. Lucie County, closed sales are up almost 5%. So 544 homes have already closed. So that is good. Yeah. The other side of the coin is prices are up 6% and change. So that's, you know, now you're up to that middle range around 403. So that's a difference from last year. That does make a difference in your payment and everything else. But
can we just talk a little bit about how blessed we are to be here on the Treasure Coast?
I know we are definitely blessed. And
I mean, and we look at these increases in the cost of these closed sales that are going up, but we still here on the Treasure Coast, and I would say St. Lucie, because I'm a little partial, but St. Lucie specifically, it's still a hot item to sell. One of the hottest places in the United States to purchase property today.
Everyone, and, you know, and they're hitting, you know, St. Lucie County, you know, Indian River. I know you have information on Brevard, but people are still moving south. I looked at one example. You know, if we look at the whole country, 18% of the people are moving to the west, 12% in the northeast, 24% in the Midwest, but everyone the home sales are in the south, 46%. So half of the sales in the country are happening here.
And I wouldn't be surprised if out of that 46%, if at least 50% or more is probably in our area.
Oh, absolutely.
We're growing by leaps and bounds.
I mean, I still think you're seeing that 1,000 people, you know, a month coming in here, a week, whatever that was. I mean, St. Lucie itself has 3 new schools they will be built by 2025. And that is a big difference because we know the amount of flow of people are coming here with families.
So then what can people anticipate as a median sale price for a home here in
Right
San
around
Lucie?
400,000.
Right, right.
You know, it doesn't mean that the lower prices are not available. You know, there's obviously older inventory. There's a lot of programs if you want to do a renovation loan. There's a lot of grant money out there that St. Lucie
That's
has just
true.
got out there. So there is programs out there. I mean, even VA or FHA.
Yeah, some that help with down payment assistance,
Correct.
home buyer programs, for closing costs.
And even if you buy a house that needs work, you know, remember we've met that person that will do the AC, the renovation, all the green
Oh,
products,
absolutely.
the dishwasher, washing machine, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's programs out there that if you buy a no-build inventory because you can't afford the new construction or at the price level of 403, you know, that's where your team goes, that we could find you the products to get you in that house, but make sure you have the right air conditioning system or you have the right hurricane
Right.
windows.
Well, do you find that people are, at least that's what I'm experiencing, is that people are, they're looking at, should I build new? Should I buy an existing home? They're really, from a cost perspective, they're kind of hanging in the same balance, right?
Yeah, there are, because you're either going to spend the money to improve it,
Right.
or you're going to buy where it's improved. And there's, you know, ups and downs. You buy a brand new home if you could find it at your price level, and there is brand new homes lower than 403.
Of course.
You know, then you have a 1-year warranty possibly. Then your homeowner's insurance could be cheaper. So, you know, when you meet with that banker or that realtor to start it off, you really need to make, you know, those different pockets. What do you want to do? Someone may not want to do any rehabs. I wouldn't want to. I want to go in and it's done.
Well, and these are things that you don't want to do on the fly
Right.
either, if you can get past that. So if you're
Take
you're
your
thinking
time.
about purchasing a home, whether it's your first home or it's a second home you're purchasing because you're moving out of an area to move to our area, you know, I would highly advise that you treat it like an important plan. You know,
Oh,
you talk about your different
absolutely.
life plans for your monies. This
Yeah.
is not just about dollars, but it's about what are the things that you need to put in place to get to the right house for the right lender.
Right.
All of
And,
those
you know,
things.
and then it ties into your school and your church and how do you want to live your life?
Absolutely.
You know, do you want to be near the water? But then if there's a hurricane 11 miles in, you got to leave. But that's where experts could help you, and then you could get the information on it. But, you know, actively in the St. Lucie County, we still have over 2,000 homes that are listed for sale. All of them are going to have a different price range. So it's not as if that you can't find what you're looking for. We will find what you're looking for, then, you know, we'll fill in the pieces. But where you want to live is key.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you want to
absolutely.
start. Not necessarily, it could be in New York or Connecticut or California. We could still guide you with the right people and give you the referral partners, especially if it's a relocation out of Florida or into Florida.
Well,
you
and
know.
there are still places. What's really interesting to me is that, you know, even though we are still growing by leaps and bounds here, specifically in St. Lucie County, there are counties north of us that are hanging or a little bit higher than us as they are in Indian River County.
Yeah.
But then just past Indian River County is this amazing area in Brevard called
Right.
Palm Bay, right?
Beautiful.
So what do you think is driving that lower price point in Palm Bay right now?
So I think, you know, the demand was so crazy for St. Lucie County in general. I mean, it just grew crazy. I mean, the amount of people that we have near, if you just go back in 5 years. But people are going up north because it's a little bit cheaper on the price level and there's less people traveling there. But that eventually will drive that up.
Of course
So
it will.
Brevard, year to date, already had 916 loans closed. So that's up almost 2%. Their medium income is 380, where I said before we were at 403.
Right.
So that makes a big difference. You know?
And I think, you know, from what I'm understanding, what's really driving some of that is the price of land. Specifically, if you're going to build,
it's cheaper.
it's much cheaper
Right.
for you to acquire land in that
Correct.
Brevard County area than it is maybe in our area
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
And these are things that might be better prepared. And you don't necessarily have to purchase within an HOA community either.
Correct, yeah. I think when you look at like Indian River or Brevard, it may not be as many, you know, the new construction may not be as vast like in this area of tradition. But even if you drive through Fort Pierce now and the unincorporated, there's so much new construction. And then if you just keep on going to Palm Bay, to Brevard County, that makes a difference from 403 to 380. And then obviously people are going west. Okeechobee, Pro Bass just bought a huge chunk of land in Okeechobee. So now they're going to make their own resort, and that's going to drive that area up.
Right.
So, but a lot of good things. I mean, we have some great builders. We have a lot of new homes. Good schools are coming in. It definitely is a family place.
Well, and we have some fun, exciting things that, a lot of times people say, well, we're seeing all of these homes go up. We're seeing restaurants go up. We just had Dave & Buster's open.
Oh, they did open?
Off of Gatlin in our area. Yeah.
I used to take my kids in New
did
York
their
all the
grand
time.
opening last week.
Oh, I
so
missed it.
that's kind of a neat, fun place for people to go of all ages. So we're starting to incorporate some things. On the south end of the county, if you're going out to like Becker Road off of Tradition, they're literally building a 3,000 person amphitheater.
Right.
I'm excited about that because I'm not real jazzed to have to drive all the way to Palm Beach County to go see a concert or those types of things. So the idea that once that's built there, the idea that we maybe will attract that level of concert goers is pretty exciting to me.
But we have beautiful parks. We have still tons of land for bike ride and beach.
We are very
walks.
big on an ecosystem here, right? We have eco culture.
It's just a great area, especially if you like the water. And we are blessed. And all this volume, it hasn't slowed down since COVID. But all new things and good things are coming with it. And we have job opportunities and businesses come in, especially in the center of the state. There's other tech companies coming now, so you're going to see growth there.
Well, and then with the most recent sign-in and decision by Brightline to run their stop
we still got to do
in
that
Martin
too.
County.
Yes.
So we would be eager if you're out there, Brightline. We would love to have you on the show.
On the show.
So please contact us. We would love to have you on the show to talk more about what your plans are for our state here.
We just have
in
good
transportation.
Things. We do. We do. All good things. So if you need to buy, sell, even a vacation home or passive income, that's where we could help you, align you with the correct people, and give you the information so you could see it for yourself and be comfortable with whatever decision you make.
And that's a very good point that Rebecca brings up. We have talked about there are many of our clients, we see such huge growth out in the west end of St. Lucie County. And part of what is that driving force is there are a lot of people who may have picked up a home in Riverland. Now, Riverland is actually, when it all is said and done, is going to have 12 different neighborhoods consisting of over 1,200 homes in each of those neighborhoods. They're finishing up phase 3, which is...
It's amazing. It's their own little city within a city.
Yes, which is Valencia Walk.
Right.
So some of those residents there, they purchased a home initially, had it built. Maybe when they started in Valencia K, the walk went up. They decided to purchase in the walk, but they kept that home as a seasonal rental or investment property that is sitting in the K. So there's that investment opportunity for them to build their wealth in that area as well.
Look at even Rio, which is next to Jensen. It's technically its own little town. You're seeing growth there, growth on the island, on Hutchison Island. A lot of good things in Fort Pierce with the high rise and things like that. And even Vero is making some good changes in the corner of where they're at.
A lot of fun, exciting things happening in real estate today. So huge opportunity for those who want to buy.
Yeah.
Huge opportunity for those who want to sell. And or
even the passive income and the vacation homes,
absolutely,
Airbnb, all that, it's made easy down here.
Exactly.
Good.
Well, we're going to take a little break and come back, and we will flip our talk to something about travel. Journaventure Travel and Tours, where it's about your journey, not just the destination. Picture a world full of amazing places yet to be discovered. Where do you begin? Whether your bucket list includes cruising in the Caribbean, exploring vast nature in Alaska, or experiencing exotic worldwide places, we're here to help you fill your bucket to live your most abundant life. Your journey begins from the moment you let go and let us handle the details for you. So call us today. Journaventure Travel and Tours, 772-882-3165.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm Rebecca Denise from the Bucket List Show, and I'm here with Tammy Crandell, the co-host. Just as a reminder, we had the Bucket List Show so everyone could live their most abundant life. So our goal was to serve you so you could live your most abundant life. So we're going to switch gears. We were talking about real estate and finance. Now we're going to talk about the travel world, and that's Tammy.
Travel can be fun. It can
is.
also be boring too sometimes.
No.
Well, because we always like to talk about all of the fun, glorious
Hawaii
things that you can
trips.
do, and all those things are really fun. But the reality is there are some things that you have to do in order to be able to travel. And one of those things, especially if you are traveling internationally, is you must have a passport.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
Right. So having a passport, in the last few years with being post-pandemic, all of those things going on around, it was so difficult to get things processed, right? So they have actually changed some things. They are in the process. When I say they, I'm talking about the passport office. They are actually changing some things by adding a beta program for online renewals.
Perfect.
So they've started that beta renewal that went into effect actually June 12th of 24. However, there are some guidelines to that. So
Well, there always is.
you can always check them out line item by line item. I actually posted that up. I've got a Facebook page named Journey Venture Travel and Tours. So if you go to that Facebook page, you can actually see those guidelines. I posted those up. But they only take so many applications a day, and it's because they're testing the process. How long is it going to take? It does not make it any quicker right now. Remember, I used the word beta.
Yeah.
That is code word for slow. They're both 4-letter words, slow, beta. So I'm just saying, it is. It just means it's going to be slow. Well, they can only take so many applications at a time. So, so what they're recommending, if you go in to do your application to renew your passport online and it doesn't allow you today, just wait till tomorrow.
How long are passports good for? So I got my passport right before COVID to go on a cruise.
Yes.
How long is it good
10
for?
years.
Oh, good. So I'm okay.
Yeah, if you're an adult, you're a U.S. citizen, it's 10 years.
Okay, perfect.
If you're younger than that, then it's shorter.
How old does a child need a passport?
How old do they
Do they
need?
need to be to get a passport? So if I went to Ireland with my granddaughter, do they need a passport?
Yeah, they're going to need a passport to travel internationally.
Wow. Okay.
So, so you want to make sure that those things are in play. So this application process for passports is not for those new passport things. They haven't
Right, it's
started that
renewal.
process.
Yes.
It's for renewals, and it has some very specific guidelines. So one of which is, the passport you're renewing has to be one for 10 years. Okay. So obviously that means they're not doing them for minors. Okay. You have to be 25 years of age and older. Okay. The passport has to have been issued between 2009 and 2015.
Okay.
You're not changing your name, you're not changing your gender, date of birth, or place of birth, all of those things. And there are some more guidelines in regards to that. But again, like I said, I would advise that you go to that page. Either go us to us.state.gov, or you can also, like I said, go to our Facebook page at Journey Venture Travel.
Okay.
And tours.
And then I know you taught me this. If you're going on a cruise, you may not need a passport. But if there's an emergency and you need to fly back, you want to have a
point. So,
passport.
yeah, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You do have the ability to travel on a cruise. In our industry, we call them closed loop. Okay. And basically means it starts in a U.S. port and ends in a U.S. port. Okay. If you are on a closed loop cruise, you can travel without a passport, as long as you have a valid government identification and a certified copy of your birth certificate. Now, what does that mean when we say certified copy of the birth certificate? It means that it came from the state with which the birth certificate was issued.
And it has a seal.
Right. And it has a seal. Could be a stamp. A rubber stamp doesn't have to be a physical seal. Right. But it's more or less something that you get from the state. Right. Really not easy to obtain if you plan it out. But what we can't accept, for example, would be a statement from a church, birth, baptism, confirmation. Can't accept that as evidence of a birth certificate. Okay. It can't be a document that came from a hospital. that says it's your birth certificate.
Your pretty little feet on them.
That's right, and that looks adorable, and it looks great in the scrapbook. But they will not take it at customs when you try to get on or off your ship.
You're like, what are those Americans doing?
That's right. What are we doing here? We don't need footprints. We just,
So we really all should have a passport in general.
Yes, and here's a very realistic reason why. You're on your cruise. You're enjoying this lovely cruise, and then you slip and you hurt yourself. And whatever injury you have is severe enough that they need to fly you back into the United States. You cannot fly without a passport.
Yeah.
That's a real problem. Now, can they expedite the process? Probably. But if you were in an emergency situation, you really...
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah. So, I mean, and I know there are plenty of clients that we have that travel with just their driver's license and a certified copy of the birth certificate, which is just fine.
Right.
But
it's just another layer of protection.
well, it's about knowing what your limitations are in the event that you hurt yourself. So it could be you don't hurt yourself at all, but maybe you have a major emergency
or you
back
just want to
home.
run away.
Well, that's it. Well, you have a major emergency. You've got to get back home because something's happened to a family member, and you want to get back home quickly. You cannot fly back into the United States.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Without a passport.
Yeah, that
when you're
would
in
be
a foreign
scary.
country.
Because the cruise I went, I ended up getting sick, and if I had to leave, I mean.
Well,
I had a passport, but if I didn't even know that information.
Well, and you don't want to get stuck in a foreign hospital. The rules are very different.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, a lot of times,
I wouldn't
unless
want
you've
that.
got some form of parlor plan coverage, insurance-wise, most plans do not cover you internationally. I'd really advise that people take a look at their insurance plans when they're getting ready to travel, and if they're not covered, consider spending a little bit of money to help them cover themselves with the travel protection that they're getting.
Another reason that we all could go online and buy a train ticket or an airplane ticket. But the idea when you use a professional, I had the insurance. So when I went, I was all set up, you gave me the insurance. But that's why you use a professional. Where to go, what cruise do you want to go on? If I'm traveling, to Hawaii or Ireland, that's why you have the information. So
well, and we're a little spoiled here, I think, sometimes in the
I know,
United
we have
States.
cruises.
We're used to, we've got 50 states that we can visit here. We don't have to have a passport to do that. We just have to have a government ID.
Yep.
Okay, so we can just cross into the next state, state, and do these things, right? Well, when you're traveling to Europe, it's not quite that simple. So let's take that another step forward and talk about some of these countries that you visit. Even if you're on a cruise, you may be required to have a visa to be able to step off the cruise ship and visit that country. And the visa guidelines, sadly to say, they're not the same in every country that you visit.
Right.
And even something, and I don't know if people realize this about passports too, a lot of these countries you visit overseas, even if you're not required to have a visa, you're required to have at least one open blank page for every country that you were visiting. Some of those countries require two in your
it's amazing,
passport
all these
booklet.
little things.
So it's little things like that. People like myself, as a travel consultant, that I go in and I look these things up. And I'm always very careful to say, this is what the current guideline is. Because if I'm planning that trip out for somebody 6 months, 8 months, 10 months out, they could change the rules in 6 months. So I can guide you along and provide you with that guidance today. But we want to make sure that you're getting the things in order. Same thing with vaccines. There are some countries, I'm not talking specifically COVID because I think we're long past that.
Yeah, now it's
really not a requirement anywhere, but in most of the places. So there's still some that are requiring COVID. But I would say most of the places that you're visiting, if you're like, oh, you've always wanted to take that African safari, right? Okay, that's all well and good. Be prepared, to get a yellow fever vaccine.
You could even get the yellow vaccine here.
Yeah,
Port
well,
St.
the
Lucie,
yellow,
we have
yellow
a big
fever.
billboard.
Yellow
You
fever.
see that?
That's right. Yeah.
I'm like, what
so
is
yellow
that?
fever. So there are a lot of countries that are going to require it. You're going to have to be able to, and literally you have to provide evidence of that vaccine when you step off in ports there.
Right.
So There's a lot to it when you're traveling, and especially when you're traveling internationally.
Right.
Very important that you have a consultant that has your back.
Yeah, it's in most cases to travel, you have your time, your energy, your money, you're bringing your family, your close people. You want it to be right.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's a trip of a lifetime or a cruise or a wedding, off-site or something. I mean, you want it to be special.
You want it to
And
be
you don't want to have any
special. You want it to
surprises.
be seamless. How many of us have taken trips and they've been absolutely seamless?
A couple, maybe.
A few,
Yeah.
okay, but I would say, much like a wedding, that
Yeah.
you're investing the money into something, and then you expect it to go off flawlessly, and sometimes it does not. I mean, I've had clients that have they were traveling overseas. They're getting ready to go out on their cruise. They arrived 2 days early. They're bebopping around London, and they got pickpocketed. And they were carrying their passport with them when they got
That's so
pickpocketed.
scary.
So now here we are. We're racing to get them to the consulate. They missed the ship on the front end, so they missed a couple days of the first part of their ship. Great thing is they had me as a travel partner.
Right.
And I'm just gonna, pat myself on the back. Okay.
You did
and
it.
That's because I communicate with my clients via WhatsApp when they're traveling if they need it.
And that's great, too.
I make that available to them.
Yeah.
And it was great because I was able to kind of walk her through what the steps were that she would have to take. She got into that consulate. We got her into the place, and we got her flown and to meet the boat within a couple of days.
Yeah, see?
So, but that whole time she was alone and by herself.
Oh, I would have been panicking.
So, so having that connection to the consultant that you
She
work
knew
with
you were
is
there
important.
for her.
Yeah.
And that's nice
Yeah.
that you set it up that she could communicate and don't have any
Yeah.
issues or anything else. So
And that
was
and
exciting.
It is exciting. It was scary for her at the same time, but I like being able to help my clients that way. That's why I do what I do.
Right.
So that's just one example of why it's important to have a travel consultant or advisor to work with you and partner in that trip that you're
Yeah.
going to be taking.
Absolutely.
I've got a gal that's getting ready to leave for Hawaii here shortly. And I know you're jealous.
next.
She's
I'm next.
jealous.
I'm going.
She's jealous. I'll tell her. I'll tell her she'll have to share her notes.
She doesn't need a companion or something.
Yeah.
I could be a girlfriend for like 2 weeks now.
She's
Kidding.
actually doing this trip solo. A wonderful young lady.
Well, I'm going to be doing mine solo.
But I've made it so no, you're not.
Yes, I am. Well, if you come with me.
Yeah,
It's just me.
You're not going to Hawaii without me, lady.
Okay, you could come.
Okay, so anyways, this lovely lady is getting ready to go, and that's the thing I let her know. She doesn't have to feel like she is alone, even though she's traveling solo. If she
there.
needs to reach me for anything, I'm there if she needs something. So the other
That's a
thing,
nice comfort.
yeah. So I just want to flip this just a little bit because we had some new information that came up in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
And it has everything to do with the pricing that you see on television for cruises or hotel stays. And what that really involves is that legislation was passed in California that involves truth in advertising. And what they were finding is people would see this wonderful advertised price of, oh, you too for $299 or $250, you can travel on this cruise for 5 days, and it became this great. And I was thinking, wow, where can you do that, right? But what it really came down to is that was only the cruise fare.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like a teaser rate in
so it was
mortgages.
a teaser rate. It made it look like we as travel consultants were costing them more, and we're not. We get paid through our vendor suppliers. So so we were actually, they've changed the rules now. So the cruise lines are adopting that they're going to advertise full price. They have to. They're going to be advertising full price. So it's going to look for a while. If they start advertising pricing on television and that $250 or $299 now is showing up at $800 per person or $900 per person, guess what? That's what it cost the whole time.
Right. So now they're just seeing the truth.
So pay attention.
that
We'll
makes
get some
sense.
information out there for you.
Perfect.
And then, so just be wary of that. And if you have questions about how those things are broken down, we are here to help you.
Absolutely. So my name is Rebecca Denise. If you have any questions or you want to reach me, my number is 203-482-7297.
And I'm Tammy Crandall, again with Journey Venture Travel and Tourism Bureau and Real Estate, and I can be reached at 772-579-9536.
Be kind, everybody. Have a blessed day.